Hello, everybody. My name is Miss Kaylee, and I'm so excited that you're here. So, today we're going to learn about my favorite word, and I want to say it together. Okay, three, two, one. Courage. Okay, I'm sure all of us have heard about courage before, courage or bravery, but I do want to talk about the slight differences of bravery and being courageous, okay? So, when we're being courageous, that means we're doing something even when we're really afraid to do it, but we know we have to do it, right? And with bravery, you're more confident and it's more impulsive. With courage, you think about it, you have to examine and figure out, is this what I want to do? Is this what I am capable of? That's what courage is. And Miss Kaylee, she really loved watching Courage the Cowardly Dog. So, courage and coward, they're not antonyms at all. So, Courage the Cowardly Dog, he was always afraid because there would be different monsters every night coming in his house, and he would have to protect his two owners, Mariel and Eustace, and he would shiver and cry and he would try to tell his owner, and they just wouldn't listen. And what Courage would do, he would go in his attic and go on his computer, type up what monster he was dealing with, and then he would still defeat the monster or banish it. And that was from Courage. Okay. All right. So don't be afraid about having fear. Don't be afraid of fear. It's natural. From the day we were born, our brains are scanning good and bad. So then that means that if we encounter something that is bad, that means our brain would want us to retreat from it. So move back from it, right? Okay. But I do want you to know that courage always beats fear. You can do something and still be a little afraid of doing it, okay? It's natural, it's fine. We just don't let fear paralyze us because Fear, fear is like a very small, teeny tiny mosquito, and it just is frantic and it makes you worry, and then it's worried. But courage, I want you to think of courage as being big and strong, and courage will scoop you up in fear as well and get the task done, all right? Okay, so here are some common fears. So, who's afraid of going to the dentist or the doctor's office? I know for me personally, Miss Kaylee absolutely loves going to the dentist. It relaxes me so much. And a lot of people are afraid of dogs and bugs. And I know there are a lot of people who are afraid of tests and public speaking as well. And public speaking, that's something that Miss Kaylee has a fear of too. But I'm always publicly speaking. So listen, courage works in our favor. It always works in our favor, all right? Okay. And also, who's afraid of monsters under your bed or in the closet and being afraid of the dark? Honestly, it took Miss Kaylee a really long time to stop being afraid of the dark. Okay, so I'm gonna play a couple of games. Well, they're quizzes. So, the truth makes fear small. So, when you know the truth about something, when you have that knowledge, then the fear, it just makes it more obsolete. So, obsolete means that it can no longer be in use. So, fear does or can try to paralyze you, make you stagnant. You're not going to move anywhere. It can paralyze you, right? So, just frozen. That's what fear can do to you. But the truth makes it smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay, so doctors or dentists do not keep me healthy. What do you think that is before I answer? Okay. Ooh. Oh, okay. So that is false. I hope everyone answered that correctly because even though sometimes you may go in there kicking and screaming, doctors and dentists want to keep you healthy. That's why they're there. You know, if you have a cavity, they may want to fill it. They want to make sure you floss your teeth. They want to make sure you brush your teeth twice or three times a day, right? Okay. And with dogs and bugs, it's completely valid. I understand why some of us have fears of dogs and bugs. I know bumblebees can sting us. One time, well, the first time I got stung by a bee, hopefully the last. I got stung in my ankle when I was trying to get a ladybug. I was trying to catch a ladybug and it just, I don't know what happened. I wasn't bothering the bee, definitely the ladybug. So I don't know. Maybe they were friends. So, learning proper interactions with bugs and dogs can help us both feel safe. So, it can help you and the dog feel safe, you and the bug feel safe. Ladybugs, they don't attack anyone. If it lands on you, it doesn't want to hurt you, okay? A dog, they have really sharp teeth, right? So, they can hurt you. So, you have to know how to properly pet a dog. Look at the warning signs. If their ears are going all the way back, you don't want to talk to them. If they're baring their teeth, you don't want to talk to them, right? Okay, so it is true. Okay, so correct. Okay, lights scare monsters away. So turning on the lights, putting what is it? A nightlight in your room, that scares away the monsters. Monsters hate the light. Yes, absolutely. Always lights will keep the monsters away. Or a monster repellent spray as well. Oop, I am just going through this. Okay. So, doing things that challenge me help me grow. Okay. So that is true. It is true that growing. Oh, Miss Kaylee is having a time right now. Okay, so it is true that challenging yourself helps you grow. So that would be public speaking, and that would also mean taking your quiz or test. Sometimes it's fearful to have all those eyes on you, right? Mhm. There's twice as many eyes as there are people. So I get it. I understand. But that helps you grow, and we're always supposed to grow, right? Okay. So I am aware, and some of us are aware that our A few of our friends are unable to go to school right now. So we're unable to go to school right now because there's a lot to be afraid of. And Miss Kaylee wants you all to know that it's completely normal to be afraid for you or your friends or your safety and wondering when are you going to be able to, go to recess again, play with your friends, get assigned fun projects, everything like that. And we all love learning, right? So, how can we help our friends be courageous during this time? Or even if it's you who I'm talking to, how can we help you become more courageous? Okay, so I want everyone to know that with parents and adults, well, safe adults in your life, and parents and guardians, and anyone else in your community that is there for you, their main goal is to protect you. So, as a child, our main responsibility is to learn, right? So, your responsibility is to learn. And also, don't go back to your parents saying, I heard on YouTube that the only thing I have to do is learn. That's not true at all. Learning is also a part of listening to your parents, right? Listening to your parents' orders, their guidance. That's why they're here to protect you and guide you. And your responsibility is to learn. Okay, so knowledge builds courage. So, right here, we see someone walking up the steps, right? So, imagine that all of these steps are knowledge. So, blocks of knowledge, right? And knowledge brings you to courage. So, you know for a fact that every single child deserves a proper education. Every child deserves to learn. You deserve to learn, right? Okay. So, how can we learn if, there are some days when we don't feel safe going to school or our parents tell us to stay home? I don't want you to be discouraged to not go to school. You have to go to school if that's what's in everyone's best interest, if it's in your parents' best interest and your best interest. So if everyone says it's safe to go to school, then yeah, so we're going to school, right? But if our parents remember, their responsibility is keeping you safe, right? So they have to protect you. And if they say that you can't go to school right now, how can you still learn? So we're still going to be inquisitive, right? Inquisitive means curious, asking questions, thinking about more questions, and thinking about problems and trying to find solutions to those problems, and also just embracing being curious and trying to find an answer. That's what inquisitive is. So ask lots of questions, read books, create games for yourself, quiz yourself, learn how to make good presentations. I know when I was around your age, I loved working on workbooks. I loved math games. I loved reading. That's what Miss Kaylee loved to do. Okay, so you are more deserving to go to school. We all need to go to school so we can learn, so we can have fun, so we can build that confidence, right? And you are not less deserving than the next person. I remember right before I went to high school, so I was 14 years old and I didn't have a high school to go to. And the school year was going to start that next week. And I saw this school for really smart kids. And I know since February of that year, so February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So that's for 7 months. For 7 months, there were students that were already applying, touring, and they had interviews with multiple people, met all the principals and teachers, and they also had a week together as a new class. And Miss Kaylee missed out on all of that. But I emailed the school the weekend before school started, and I asked if I could have an opportunity to still attend that school. And I had the interview and I got accepted. And by that Monday, I was in that school. So I could have felt like I didn't belong there because everyone worked really hard for months, for half a year to get into that school. And it only took me an email and an interview to get to that school. So, wherever you are placed for your schooling, if you feel like you don't belong there, that is far from the truth, okay? Because you deserve to learn, have really good teachers, have recess, still play. Some of y'all may have class pets. Like, you deserve all of that. Okay, so this is Miss Kaylee's promise to you. Okay, so I love everything about animals and storytelling and books, and these are all the animals that I worked with. I worked with way more, but you see, the rabbit, guinea pig, didn't work with a guinea pig with glasses, and that would be nice. A crow, a porcupine. I actually got bitten by one. His name was Barton. And an African clawed frog. And I worked with pigs too, and they're really smart. So, Miss Kaylee, she wants to share everything she knows about animals with all of you. Whether you're going to school, whether you have a tummy ache and you want to stay home, or you're on winter vacation, summer vacation, I'm here and I'm going to teach you, and we're all going to learn and have a fantastic time. And welcome to this class. Okay, so bye for now. I'll talk to you later.